Welcome, friend, to my media museum. And today is episode 21 of our 45 RPM vinyl records mix box number 11. And if you've been watching this series, you're aware of the story behind this box and that it's quite a rather large box. I'm thinking we've got 2 more episodes here, maybe 3, and I'll be moving on to doing some 80s dance music, which would be the last portion of this box. I've got 4 real good sized stacks, probably going to end up being 8 episodes or around about there, of just 80s dance music. So let's quit yakking and get to looking at these so we can wrap up the rest of this box. And we've got William McVaughn, Be Thankful for What You've Got. And I most definitely am. I am thankful for every single one of you subscribers out there. I am thankful for every thumbs up that I get. And it doesn't matter if I'm making any money off this channel or not, which I'm still not. And that's fine. I'm doing this as much for myself as for anything. It's fun to go through and look at this stuff, and it's cool to have it documented. So hey, I am thankful for what I've got, and that's a really good positive message there, and I'm glad I could start an episode with that. But that hit number 4 apparently in May of 1974, and it's Era Records, which isn't one that we've seen recently. It's actually Chelsea Records that owns the rights to that, but Era Records was the distributor that made this particular piece of plastic for us. The B-side, Tom Bell and Sherman Marshall doing a song called I'm Doing Fine Now, which again, they say hit number 17 in April of 73. It clearly marked as a B-side, so we do know what was intended as the A and the B side here. I kind of find that interesting. That looks to me a bit like a cassette tape, doesn't it? Just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little high. It should be a little more centered, but that's an interesting logo. I don't know what they were trying to portray there, but my best guess would be it looks like an 8-track. Not an 8-track, a cassette tape. All right. Next up, we've got the Elegance, not the Elephants. I know I was filming one other time before, and I came across one of theirs, and I called it the Elephants, and it's the Elegance with Little Star, and they got number 1 on the charts with that one back in July of 1958. Golden Goodies Hit Series. Now, I've seen a lot of these roulettes. And I always love that. I love the design on those labels and their sleeves. The sleeves usually extend it right on out. But I have not come across one that I recall having the Golden Goodies Hit Series stamped on there. It almost looks like it was just stamped on there too, added on, rather than a part of the original printing. But yeah, I think it is actually part of the original printing. It just looked a little blurred on that side. It looks a little sharper. A little bit sharper on this side. But this one's the Ponytails doing Born Too Late. Again, July of 1958, hit number 7. But yeah, it's really cool to have a roulette Golden Oldies series. I think there was a point in time when just about all the record distributors, all the manufacturers, they were getting on that bandwagon to help support that jukebox market, which is where they were getting their dineros from at that time, or that's where the market was. Here we go. We've got the Left Bank doing a song called Pretty Ballerina. Smash Records. We've ran across a couple of these in this box recently. This one hit number 15 in February of 67, according to the notations from the guy that I got these all off of. All-time smash hits. Well, maybe I know it, maybe I don't. I'd have to put it on a turntable to find out. And this one's interesting. It's got a really strong lip on it. You know, some of them have that. I can't really show it to you. Don't think I can get it in the camera where you can see it. But you can really feel there's a lip there. I don't know if it's intended to keep the needle from sliding off or what. But much more noticeable than on other 45s that I've handled, especially recently. But the B-side of this one is a song called Walk Away, Renee. Again, by the Left Bank, so at least you still have the same band on both sides. And that hit number 5 in September of 66. So the left bank was apparently around for a little while because they were 67 on that side. So I may never heard of them, but that doesn't mean they didn't have a very long and successful career, just because I'm not familiar with them. I'm pretty well versed in my tunes, but I am 60s psych, 70s rock, and 80s metal more than anything else. So you start getting back to your 50s rock and roll, your 60s bubblegum and pop, and I may know a lot of it, but I'm not going to know all of it, especially not these when you're getting into the, upper top 40s. All right, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes doing I Miss You Part 1. And my wife was recently on vacation this last week, and I was going to take a picture of that and send it to her, but I figured she wouldn't get the reference. But what's interesting here is that I don't know them, and I don't know if there was a part 2. This is a golden oldies and it's noted as being March of '72 when this came out. But my point is, I'm rambling on, not getting it out. The B-side is not part 2. The B-side is a completely different song, If You Don't Know Me By Now, which is actually probably the A-side, because I may know the song If You Don't Know Me By Now, or I may just be confusing it with a later 80s hit. But this song hit number 3 in October of '72, so it's quite possible. If you don't, I'm not going to try and sing it because, like I said, I don't really know it, and it's probably not going to be the right song. So, very interesting that so many of these are reissues. I went through the box, and it's not by coincidence. I did pull a lot of these reissues out to stack them up, to be closer to the end of the video. Pulled all the cool stuff to the front, of course, which I typically do. So if you go back and watch any of the mixed boxes, you'll find the first 1 or 2, sometimes 3 videos. You'll find any metal that there might have been or any really great classic '70s songs. They got moved to the front. Here we've got Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas doing a song called Little Children that apparently hit number 7 in the charts in May of '64. I like the way it's notated as being the mono version, so this is probably the original version that you would have heard on the radio. And if you know this song and it brings back memories for you, this would be the one copy that you would know. And man, it is a beautiful, beautiful piece of plastic there. Vinyl, whatever you want to call it. I know the materials do fluctuate, what these are actually made out of. They're called plastic, they're called vinyl. They can be been called wax, which they're clearly not wax. I think they're cut into wax when they were recorded back in the very, very early days when they first made records. When you could go in and pay to have a record cut for you. Maybe those were actually wax. But anyways, Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas is also on the B-side of this one with the song called Bad to Me. And that hit number 9 in June of 1964. There again, it's a mono version of it, which is actually cool. The people get upset about getting a mono version when they'd rather have it in stereo. Well, if it was originally in mono, that's the way I want to hear it. There's nothing wrong with them going back to the original tapes if they can and remixing it for a stereo, or maybe having both versions from originally when it was made. But the stereo versions are not better. I'd rather hear the mono. I'd rather hear that original mono version. And don't even get me started on widescreen, full screen movies and stuff. That's going to be a video someday that I'm going to get my lazy butt around to doing. I'm a fan of widescreen movies. I want to see the movie the way it was filmed. But a lot of films were filmed in full screen and matted down for the theater. So you're actually seeing less image in these widescreen prints than in the full screen prints. But it's not always true, and it's very confusing, and there's a lot to go over about it, so I'm going to shut up for now. But there will be a video at some point in time, if I continue breathing, that I will get made discussing the different formats in films. But here we've got Joey Powers doing Midnight Mary. Hit number 10 with that in December of 1963. You can see it's a Flashback Records, which apparently was the Arista brand for their reissues. And maybe maybe not. Maybe it was just another one of these licensing things. We got Jim Skip Music, Arista, Flashback Records. And I like that produced by Artie Wayne. The first glance, I thought it said April 1. It was like, oh no, that can't be right. Read that again. So on the B side, we do have a different band here. We've got the Viscounts doing Harlem Nocturne. And I guess that would be another way of saying Harlem Nights, right? Hit number 39 in the charts, but they're not telling us any info about when it did so or when it was released. But yeah, that's interesting. Never heard of them before. Next up, we've got the Impressions. And this American Pie Records kind of threw me recently. I was looking up a song and it said it was, related to American Pie, and I didn't remember it being in the movie soundtrack or even on the expanded soundtrack. I have the 2 CD expanded soundtrack. And yeah, American Pie Records has nothing to do with the movie American Pie. I don't think it has anything to do with Don McLean's song American Pie either. So yeah, this wasn't necessarily in the movie American Pie. This is just another one of these reissue labels that put out old songs again for whatever reasons, probably 45 jukeboxes. But you can see we got 3 dates on here, 73, 87, 88. But we're telling us here on the notations that it hit number 14 in April of 1964. So, yeah, it's a song from 64, licensed with MCA in 73, and then relicensed with American Pie in 87 or 88 to put this out. So, a lot of agreements being made and going on to get music out there. And it is marked as the A-side. So that's why we know that was. Because the B-side is a number 1 hit song. But it is clearly marked as the B-side. So that's always interesting too when the B-side is rated higher than the A-side. Hugh Mescalea? Macy Kalea? I don't know. I'm giving up on that one. Hugh somebody did Grazing in the Grass and hit number 1 with it in June of 1968. Cool that they've got it marked as stereo there. I didn't notice on the other side if it was marked stereo or mono, but let's take another look and see. Yes, it was, and it is marked also as stereo. So, that wraps up episode 21 for us. And like I said, we're probably going to have 2 more episodes. So we'll have like 23 episodes, and then that'll finish up box 11 for the most part. And I'm going to do some 80s dance music, which was actually about a sixth of this box after that. So hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you then. Have a great day.